Something almost unimaginable is happening in Washington, and it's not coming from Democrats, protesters, or the media. Donald Trump is facing an unprecedented revolt from within his own party. For the first time, Republicans are quietly but deliberately pushing back, drawing red lines, and openly resisting a president who has long treated power as personal property. Emergency declarations, war rhetoric, behind-the-scenes panic Congress is moving to stop actions that, until now, no one dared challenge. This isn't a headline you'll see repeated on social media. This is history in the making. Late at night, phones light up across Capitol Hill. Senators whisper in hallways. Staffers double-check every message. The president is furious not at Democrats, not at the press, but at his own party. And for the first time in years, the rebellion isn't outside the gates, it's inside the walls, where power is most dangerous. Republicans are revolting. And this isn't just MAGA infighting or strategic leaks. This is deep, deliberate, and existential, striking at Trump's most prized possession, unchecked power. Broken promises matter: no new wars, soaring costs, stalled disclosures, but the real threat is the party itself saying no. And when internal guardrails activate, presidents escalate. That is exactly what is happening now. A presidency leaning into spectacle and crisis to protect itself from internal collapse. At the heart of this revolt is a truth that even veteran lawmakers struggle to say aloud. Trump has publicly entertained military options that could drag America into conflict with allies, not enemies. Greenland is not empty land. It is part of Denmark, a NATO ally. Any military move there isn't symbolic. It could spark a legal, constitutional, and international nightmare. The fact that Republican senators now have to explain this publicly shows just how unnerved they are. Trump's worldview deals, leverage, property, not treaties or alliances, works in boardrooms, not global politics. Republican lawmakers understand that if a president treats military action as optional, the machinery starts moving whether Congress likes it or not. That's why the War Powers Act has become a literal battlefield, an emergency brake on unilateral action. When Republicans join Democrats to limit Trump's unilateral power, he lashes out with rage, threats, and profanity because power is personal to him and conditional to reality. Internal pushback feels existential. His second-term strategy relies on projecting inevitability, control, and dominance. Nothing threatens that more than members of his own party publicly saying no. Trump escalates. Emergency declarations, national security threats, foreign assets all are used as political weapons, distractions to flood the zone with spectacle and drown out oversight. The national emergency over Venezuelan oil, for instance, allows him to appear as the sole protector of American security while sidelining lawmakers who resist. Benefits go to corporations, not citizens, but complexity has never been the point. Control is the point. This time, the internal resistance is real. Republicans are coordinating strategy behind closed doors. They are no longer asking how to support Trump's next move. They are asking how to preserve institutions, stop overreach, and ensure accountability survives long after this presidency. Emergency powers, stalled disclosures, unilateral threats, these aren't separate crises. They are a single test. Can the system survive when the top refuses to follow rules? Every move Trump makes, every declaration, every threat, every delay compounds pressure. For him, resistance is betrayal. For lawmakers, silence is complicity. Every vote, every call, every meeting becomes a test. Preserve the system or let it erode. Senators coordinate, staffers draft contingency plans, and the halls of power are buzzing with strategy the public cannot see. The stakes are enormous. History won't remember who shouted the loudest at rallies or dominated social media. It will remember who stood up when power was at its most dangerous, when rules bent past breaking points, and when democracy needed defenders. And those defenders are not outsiders. They are inside the party, inside the system Trump thought he could control, inside the institutions that define America. This is not a typical political struggle. It is a stress test of the entire constitutional system, a battle between spectacle and procedure, dominance and restraint, personal ambition and institutional integrity. The outcome will define not just this presidency, but the limits of power for every future president, Republican or Democrat. For the first time, Republicans are acting as guardians of the system. They are moving from loyalty to responsibility, from expedience to preservation, from rhetoric to real action. And that shift, subtle as it may seem, is why what is happening now in Washington is more consequential than any rally, headline, or tweet. Because when the smoke clears, history won't remember who shouted the loudest. It will remember who stood up when power met its limits, when the rules bent, and when democracy itself needed defenders.